It's not the same with just one star.
It's okay, Grease. You'll be okay. You're with Jedi. It's safe. I'm safe. Who's there? Oh, Cal. Whew. Are we ready to go?
Just checking on you.
I'm fine. Just fine. Just very much ready to get off this planet. I've heard the stories. Witches, living dead. Don't you have a job to do? Come on already.
I'll get right on it.
Okay, good. Hurry it up. I'll be right here where it's safe, if there is such a place.
Don't worry, Grease, we're getting off this planet right now. Also, welcome back to Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
Maybe we should leave.
That's your call, Cal. I'm sure it'll make Grease happy. I bet he's still hiding on the ship. But Cordova did come here. That I'm sure of.
That's good to hear, Seer. Let's check on the plants.
It's huge now.
You goddamn right, that's... Wait, it doesn't even look that big. Maybe my sense of perspective is off, but... it doesn't look huge to me, Cal. Anyway, onwards to Zeffo, where we're actually supposed to go.
Next destination.
This whole journey has put a lot of wear and tear on the Mantis.
Like it was perfect before?
It was a masterpiece, but now, just don't be surprised if I send you a bill.
Someone's low on funds.
I mean, sure, okay, that may be part of it, but I'm used to it. Were you rich growing up?
Wealth isn't really a priority for Jedi.
Yeah, well, I was poor too, but it wasn't so bad. My crew and I would find things to do for cheap. That's where I learned how to play Subak.
A game which requires credits. Strange choice.
Well, we were kids. We bet all kinds of dumb things from food to funny-shaped rocks. Unfortunately, things changed when we got older. Funny-shaped rocks didn't go so far anymore.
A galaxy would be a better place if they did.
Get over here, kid. We're about to land. Look of a storm brewing down there. This might not be the best time to land.
Something strange. Those winds are interfering with our comms.
Hey, Cordova mentioned something about peace in the eye of the storm. Well, I can just make out a settlement in the middle of it.
Then we have to get there.
Copy that. Oh. Couple bumps ain't gonna kill you, kid. Unless the wind picks up. Can you tell that bucket of balls to keep his opinion to himself?
I'm sure everything's under control.
It's under control, it's just a little tricky. Okay, hold on. Oh. Huh. Perfect landing. Easy money, baby.
But I'm still getting a lot of interference on the comms. It's gonna take me a minute to get them back up.
I'll search for signs of Cordova in the meantime.
Good. I'll be in touch once I crack this. Cal, over here. You did good work on Bogano. The more information we gather on Cordova and the Zeffo, the closer we'll get to stopping the Empire.
I've heard of ancient cultures, but don't know much about them.
I only knew that Cordova was obsessed with the Zeffo, believing their teachings to be important. I, too, was intrigued by the mysteries of our galaxy. You better get moving. There's a lot to learn here. Good luck.
Planet Zeffo. Nowhere near as dangerous as Dathomir, but you still have to watch your back.
Good work. Oh, we did it. I hope you're not hurt. What are you looking at?
Who are you talking to?
Just my ship, the Mantis. Good name, right? Intimidating. Oh, what do you know? You probably never even flown a ship. Maybe I'll teach you one day, when you're done with your Jedi stuff. I'll even give you a discount.
It's dangerous being on the run, huh?
You're telling me. You lose someone?
His name is Prof. Traded his life for mine.
Sounds like a tough, strong guy. Not far from myself.
He was. Since the day I stepped foot on Braca, he watched over me. Never complained.
Never complained? On that trash heap?
I just hope he didn't do it for nothing.
They never do, kid. They never do.
It's just the way the galaxy works, it seems. But here on Zeffo, this place is not as dark as Dathomir, and isn't as teeming with wildlife as Pagano was. So we're going to have a good mix of creatures as well as Imperial units here. As well as plenty of secrets. Zeffo has a lot of secrets, and this planet can get a bit confusing to traverse through.
Something was in there.
Blue Leader as the new BD-1 skin. Now, Blue Squadron led the assault on the Battle of Scarif, which were the events that took place in the movie Rogue One, so that's a bit of trivia there for you. Or not if you probably already know that in the first place. So yeah, Rogue One, that's still a good movie, and quite honestly the best Disney Star Wars movie in my opinion. Everything else was, well, Force Awakens I still like, but everything else was just kind of average to bad. Oh, The Rise of Skywalker was so bad. And it's not even like an enjoyable type of terrible like The Phantom Menace or Attack of the Clones, or even The Last Jedi. No, Rise of Skywalker was just terrible. You can't even understand half of what that movie was doing. And to be honest, The Rise of Skywalker should have been 3 hours or slowed the pacing way down, because the plot points, they just fly at you at Mach 50 in 2 minutes. And also, somehow Palpatine has returned. That is still the best meme from that movie, and it's not even that good of an explanation. Just, Palpatine has somehow returned. Which was a thing in the expanded universe from the 90s or so, but still, they didn't even bother to explain it in the movie itself. Okay, that tangent went on for way longer than it should, and I got that out of my system. I won't bash The Rise of Skywalker again. Unless I find a reason to. But anyway, we got these mole rat looking enemies, and I managed to cut them clean in half in my first strike. Man, Sprint Strike, you're a godsend.
Cal, can you hear me?
The Empire. They found Zeffo.
If they were following the Mantis, we would have been swarmed already.
Could they be looking for the tombs?
Let's hope not. Just got our comms working. I'll try the same workaround to crack into theirs.
We'll see how that plays out. Anyway, the Empire has a few new stormtroopers introduced on this world. And they are not that much harder than the standard stormtroopers we've been seeing so far. I mean, this is only the third world, so yeah, things are not gonna rev up until, I say, next world. And I'm not counting Dathomir, because Dathomir was originally intended for you to go later on in the story. But anyway, these rats right here, which I forgot the names of, I think they're called Skaz or something. What's with these names? They're not that hard to deal with. They just lunge at you and they'll occasionally burrow into the earth, which you can easily block. You don't want to pass up on this cave because there's an item here that will help you out on your journey. This will increase the stem count on BD-1. You can see on the side of Cal's health bar that there's a number 2 right next to it. That's how many stems I currently have.
Mother used this fabric to keep her child warm. They were on the run from something.
That something definitely being the Empire. I bet 9 times out of 10 it's the Empire that they're running away from. But anyway, here's a wholesome scene with Cal and BD-1.
Stem crate. Should be here. Wait, can you carry more? Thanks, BD-1.
The droid should have his own game. Star Wars The Adventures of BD-1. Let's make that happen. I'm kidding. Or am I? You know what, that would actually be good for a Lego game. And speaking of Lego games, yes, I have played the Skywalker Saga. I played it on PS4 though, so that the performance was kind of crappy there. But I thought it was an excellent game, and to be honest, I think it's my favorite Lego Star Wars game. This mostly because there's more movies to work with. Instead of 3 films for a game, there's 9. And I also believe that Rogue One and Solo are DLC, so technically all the movies are in the LEGO Rise of Skywalker game now. I meant to say LEGO Skywalker Saga game. Even though the Rise of Skywalker is in the Skywalker Saga too, and yeah, you know my opinions about that film. But the LEGO adaptation was very funny though. In fact, that's the only version of the Rise of Skywalker I like. Unironically, the LEGO version. That should not even be possible that I like the LEGO version of something more than the actual thing, but it's 2023 and somehow this is actually reality. Well, no, I can't say that. I like LEGO Harry Potter more than actual Harry Potter. It's mainly because I was never really that huge into Harry Potter at all. Yes, I said it, a famous franchise that I'm not that big on. Even back then, I was like, I only seen 2 of the 8 movies or something, and I thought they were okay, but nothing special. I do like the LEGO video games though. You'd be surprised at how many franchises that people lose their shit over, but I'm just like, it's okay, or I don't really care about the franchise, so I don't watch it. Like, you know, Harry Potter, like I said. There's also Sailor Moon, which I'm not a fan of at all. And One Piece, oh god, people freak out about One Piece, but I just don't care. Star Trek is another one, but I'm also sometimey about it because I love the Next Generation show. That is one of my favorite shows of all time. And the older movies, or at least some of them with the original crew, were good. I know The Wrath of Khan was very good, and The Undiscovered Country with the Klingons, I love that film. I think that's my favorite Star Trek film, actually. But if you show me Star Trek from like the 60s, or maybe even the newer series like Discovery or Enterprise, I'm just like, what is happening and why do I care? But those are my, I guess you can call them franchises that I personally think are overrated, but everybody else likes. Let me know what series you think is generally talked to death about or overrated, because I am curious.
Go. I'll lead them away.
Buster, no!
Maybe a bit of a spoiler, or I have the Force myself, but something tells me that we're going to meet one of those 2 characters that were in that Force Echo. But that's not going to be for another few parts from now, so... Oh, you mean I can't stealth kill these guys? That's something you can actually do in Jedi Survivor, stealth kill stormtroopers when they're not looking. That's a neat concept. Everything else, well, I am making a Jedi Survivor first impressions video, so stay tuned for that. Let's just say that Jedi Survivor is a great game, but it's absolutely broken and it really has no reason to be broken. But I'll go more into detail as to what's wrong with the game in the video. Man, hit yourself. You're supposed to be a sniper. You know, that is a weird inconsistency about the scout troopers in this game. They're melee based, which I'm not really complaining about, but aren't there supposed to be riot troopers that specialize in melee? Like, why scout troopers? And speaking of, here's the new class of scout trooper, the Commander. They are tougher, but not extremely so. They just have one unblockable attack, and that's a sweep attack, but you can just dodge out of the way. That unblockable sweep attack, by the way, is usually prefaced by 2 spinning attacks. So you can block, and then dodge the 3rd attack, or if you're quick enough, you can parry the first 2 attacks and knock them off balance that way. And there is a telltale whenever an enemy is about to rev up for an unblockable. Whenever you see them glow red for a few frames, that's when you should start dodging. Simply dodging won't work 100% of the time though, as some enemies will have shockwave moves. This is mainly relegated to boss fights, but certain bosses will shake the ground, and whether or not you're dodging, that will still knock Cal Kestis over and do massive damage. Which is why you press X whenever you see those attacks. It's like a secondary dodge in a way, but you somersault into the air. And here's another resting place. Or a place to rest. I probably should have worded that differently. And the shortcut back to the hangar. Now, I'm going to say right now that I don't really care for Jedi Fallen Order's map system, because every planet is a windy path that you can get very much lost in. Don't get me wrong, I like how many secrets I can find on the planets themselves, but sometimes after a temple, I just want to get back to the Mantis. And luckily Jedi Survivor fixes that with a fast travel system. But the planets are even larger now, so yeah, good luck. I just unlocked the Leaping Slash, which is a follow-up attack to your Triangle Strike. This move will put your foe in a world of hurt if it connects. All you have to do is press triangle twice. Scout troopers beware. Now Cal here is still a learner. He doesn't have any of the force abilities that any of the characters from KOTOR or Jedi Academy or even Starkiller does. Which in a way makes this the most grounded Star Wars game to have a force sensitive main character. And somehow I count slowing time down more realistic than pulling a huge Star Destroyer out of the sky. Priorities, man, priorities. And Star Wars has gotten to the point where each game is pretty much its own category. Like, you got Dark Forces, Bounty Hunter, Jedi Starfighter, Jedi Academy, Jedi Fallen Order, Rogue Squadron, and the list just goes on. And people will say that Star Wars is dead or Star Wars is dying as a franchise, but is it really? Because they keep making movies and TV shows and comic books out of this stuff. I mean, come on, the series has been around for 50 years at this point. Nearly. So whenever someone on the internet says Star Wars is dying, take that with a grain of salt because Lucasfilm is probably making another movie as we speak. It's gonna come out next week. Whether the movie, show, or game is good really just depends on who's making it. Ah, these stormtroopers are puny. I honestly feel bad for whoever gets picked for a stormtrooper because shit sucks. Being a stormtrooper sucks in the Star Wars universe. Unless if you're playing the stormtrooper in Battlefront 2, in which case, stormtrooper is badass. And so are the scout troopers in that game, who are actual snipers. No, I'm not gonna let that go, damn it. I miss Battlefront 2. I mean the 2005 original game, not the 2017 game. Even though that one's good too, but come on, 2005, the OG, the original Battlefront 2. One of the best games ever made. You pick your favorite army, you pick your favorite map, you die 1,000 times to a tank, and there you go. That's your weekend right there. Well, if you're 12 years old and you have all the time in the world to play that game. Which unfortunately I don't, because I'm not 12 years old anymore. Battlefront 2 and Kingdom Hearts 2 were probably my two favorite games on the PlayStation 2. That's way too many goddamn 2s. Still not looking forward to my eventual Kingdom Hearts 2 Let's Play in 2028 or something like that, because the game is long. And I'm not a big fan of my Let's Plays getting that long, especially after like 50 parts, because holy crap. I only did that once with Final Fantasy IX, and even that was not even 50 parts. But still, that was a long playthrough.
My friend, in the rotation since I left Logano, I've uncovered more about the Zeffo than I once believed possible.
Honestly, I think the best Let's Play lengths for me, personally, whenever I'm commentating is at least 20 to 30 parts at most. It's mainly just a time thing and whether or not the audience actually sticks around for the entire journey. Which some of you actually do stay till the end. You guys are outstanding for that, by the way. This cave is a passageway to the next area, but there are a couple of items in here though. It's mainly just cosmetics. Here's the item I was talking about. I believe it's a copper lightsaber material or something.
What is it?
Yep, copper lightsaber material. Again, it's just a cosmetic feature. It makes the lightsaber hilt copper, brownish color. And that's one thing I find Jedi Fallen Order lacking in is while there are customization options, the customizations don't really enhance Cal in any way in combat. It's just a cosmetic it's a cosmetic feature. For example, in The Force Unleashed, and I believe The Force Unleashed 2, you can get items to enhance Starkiller. This game opts for a more basic approach in terms of leveling up.
Jedi!
If there was ever a perfect time for a Wilhelm scream, this would be it. And no, I checked. This game does not have the famous Wilhelm scream anywhere in it. It does, however, have the series staple of a character yelling "No!" whenever something bad happens, so I can settle for that. You know, now that I'm thinking about it, Star Wars created a whole bunch of tropes. The big no, the I'm your father, and even though the Wilhelm scream was used before Star Wars, it did make the Wilhelm scream famous.
That looks like a problem.
Oh lord, giant space ram! These guys are kinda dangerous. They lead up with a charge attack which you can't block, so you have to dodge to the side. You're gonna have to try your best to block their attacks and parry because they hit like a ton of bricks.
What'd you find?
That was a silly question, Cal. But the next encounter coming up has a new stormtrooper unit. This one being the shock trooper, or I think it's called heavy weapons trooper in the game, but it's a shock trooper. He has a rocket launcher, he does massive damage if he hits you with it.
Reducing the quality of my posture and aim. Doesn't surprise me. Rations at this posting are terrible. I'm just saying it's not my fault if I miss a target.
So what I like to do for this encounter, because there are melee troopers on the bottom, is I make a beeline for the shock trooper and trying to take him out first. This game surprisingly makes stormtroopers accurate, so you gotta watch out for these guys, because they will be a nuisance if you don't pick them off first.
Now, Jedi.
Man, these takedowns can get brutal. Now, this game does not have human dismemberment. It does have creature dismemberment, but not on humans. The sequel does fix that problem. You can actually dismember stormtroopers in that game. Which is kind of weird how the first game didn't have dismemberment on humans. I'm guessing EA was a bit worried on overdoing the violence when Fallen Order was made. I'm not really sure. For this section right here, you have to put the moving turbines in stasis in order to cross them. It's a good thing Cal doesn't suffer from any real fall damage.
Whoa. That's gotta be one of the Zeffo. Guess we're on the right track, huh, BD?
Now we have Stormtrooper Commanders, who are just tougher variants of Stormtroopers. They have grenades and more health. You can push the grenades back at them, but I don't have the ability unlocked just yet. The armor actually does work. Sometimes. Really cheap plasticky material for armor. Well, why can't the Stormtroopers have good armor? Like Captain Phasma? Or better yet, Dark Troopers. Dark Troopers are freaking awesome. I'm surprised that Dark Troopers weren't shown in any of the Star Wars movies. I would have thought 7 through 9 would have introduced them, but no. They didn't. There were Sith Troopers from Episode 9 who were just red stormtroopers with a bit tougher armor, but that's about it. And those were an option, but I would have preferred actual dark troopers who were at least more menacing looking. Especially those tall dark troopers who are all robot, those were freaking nightmare fuel. So many rats on this planet, Zeffo has a pest problem, and Cal's here to fix it. Jedi Exterminator coming to you in 2027 or 6, I don't know. I'm actually kind of surprised that Jedi Survivor came out as quickly as it did. So I imagine that Respawn immediately got to work on the second game after they finished the first one. I honestly would have thought that Jedi Survivor would have taken another year or two to come out, but no, it's here right now. And if they are going to make another game, which they probably are at this point, it's going to come out in at least 2027. But that's my guess. I could be wrong, and this video would be rendered pointless. And this guy left himself open. Good job, Scout Trooper. How's that possible? Well, I'm a Jedi. Man, I really wish they hadn't phased out the clone troopers. That would have been awesome. The first ever stormtroopers were clone troopers from the Clone Wars, but they got phased out because they got too old. And now we got these bozos. pretty much human beings that were conscripted or volunteered for being a stormtrooper, and now they suck at their job. But the first batch of stormtroopers and even the 501st Legion, they were beasts on the battlefield. But you gotta get soldiers somewhere. What? That rat just phased into the wall. What is happening here? But no, as I was saying, episode 3 and the beginning of episode 4, the stormtroopers were intense, but over time they just got dumber and dumber and dumber.
There's a transport ship leaving the Empire's base.
I heard. They plan to bring Zeffo artifacts to Coruscant.
Does that mean?
That the Emperor is interested in Zeffo? Maybe.
They are definitely interested in Zeffo, alright. They're probably looking for what I'm looking for.
Was wounded, but he took out a trooper.
That's all you have to say about that, Cal? Just a villager was wounded? And also, if you recognize the name, that was Oster, who was in the previous flashback with Miranda, I think her name was? I don't know if I'm butchering the name, but I think it was Miranda or Morena. I don't know what those guys were talking about, but it must have been something huge. Super huge. I can't enter this pathway yet because I don't have the proper force ability. Which is push. I don't have force push yet. That is the most vanilla basic move you can have. Force push. And you don't even have it. Cal, what is wrong with you? I guess we can find that out in the next part. I'll see you in episode 6. Return of the Jedi. No, I'm not going to call the episode that. That's too on the nose.